Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Chasing Sparks with Tasha, the podcast where we turn life's messes into motivation, one spark at a time. I'm your host, Tasha, and if you're here, it means one of two things. You either love a good dose of inspiration, or you clicked on this by accident and now you're too polite to leave. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Let's be real. Life is weird. One minute you're cruising along, and the next you're questioning every decision that led you to eating dry cereal at midnight while doom scrolling. Sound familiar? Yeah, same. That's why I started this podcast to talk about those moments when life feels stuck, overwhelming, or just plain ridiculous, and how we can find the sparks that keep us going. So, what does chasing sparks even mean? No, I'm not talking about running around with a lighter and bad decision making skills. It's about finding those small but powerful moments that push us forward. Like when you're about to give up, but then you hear a song that makes you feel like you could run a marathon, even though you won't. Sparks can come from anywhere: a conversation, a random idea, an embarrassing failure that later becomes a great story. The key is recognizing them and doing something with them. Because let's be honest, I've had plenty of ideas at 3 a.m. that I thought were life changing, only to realize in the morning that they were just caffeine induced nonsense. But seriously, these sparks, no matter how small, can lead to big changes. And sometimes all we need is one tiny moment of inspiration to shift our mindset and get us moving again. For example, have you ever been absolutely convinced you were terrible at something, only to be thrown into a situation where you had no choice but to figure it out? Like when your GPS fails and suddenly you're relying on pure instincts to navigate a road trip. That's a spark moment. Learning you actually have more skills than you thought, even if they emerge under extreme stress and mild panic. Why does this matter? Because let's face it, life doesn't come with a GPS. Sometimes you feel like you're heading in the right direction and then boom, you hit a dead end. Or worse, you realize you've been in a roundabout for 3 years with no exit in sight. That's where chasing sparks comes in. It's about recognizing the little moments that can help us pivot, reset, and move forward. Maybe it's a failure that teaches you something important. Maybe it's a totally unexpected opportunity. Or maybe it's realizing that, yes, you actually do need to read the IKEA instructions before assembling that bookshelf. Trust me, experience speaking. And sometimes the spark is recognizing that you need to step back. Have you ever kept forcing something that just wasn't? Like when you try to plug in a USB cord and despite flipping it 14 times, it still won't fit? Maybe the solution isn't trying harder, it's realizing you need a different approach. The point is, life is unpredictable. But instead of waiting for a grand breakthrough, what if we just focused on finding the next small spark? Now, let's talk about how this idea connects to leadership, personal growth, and, getting through the day without completely losing it. Whether you're leading a team, running a household, or just trying to keep your cat from knocking over your coffee again, you're leading something. And leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about being willing to find the sparks that lead to solutions. For me, leadership has been a crash course in problem solving, patience, and figuring things out on the fly. I've had to navigate everything from team conflicts to unexpected challenges to realizing that winging it isn't a sustainable strategy. And let's be real, sometimes leadership just means holding it together long enough to figure out what to do next. That's what Chasing Sparks is all about. It's about finding those small wins, those light bulb moments, and using them to create momentum. Take, for instance, when a big problem lands in your lap at work. You have no idea how to fix it, but you nod confidently and say, I'll look into that. That's not lying, that's leadership. And it's in those moments where chasing sparks, those tiny ideas and new ways of thinking, makes all the difference. So, what can you expect from Chasing Sparks with Tasha? Some episodes will be about personal growth, some will focus on leadership, and some will just be me trying to figure things out in real time with you. Because let's be honest, none of us have this whole life thing completely figured out. If someone says they do, they're probably lying and have a personal assistant who organizes their sock drawer. I'm developing some really great things for this space, and I want it to be a place where we can all learn, laugh, and grow together. Some days we might talk about mindset shifts, and other days we might talk about how a minor inconvenience almost ruined my entire day until I remembered I was supposed to be a grown adult with coping skills. It's a journey, people. If this episode made you laugh, think, or at least kept you entertained while you folded laundry, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast. Until next time, keep chasing those sparks. They're out there, you just have to look for them. See you soon.